She rejected my low offer on the $500,000 mansion until she saw my bank balance. She looked at my offer, glanced at me, and tried not to laugh. "Sir, the seller isn't entertaining lowball offers," she said. Lowball? It was a $500,000 mansion, and I offered exactly what it was worth. But I guess my hoodie, my watch, my quiet tone didn't scream serious buyer. So she slid my offer back across the table like it was a joke. What she didn't know? I wasn't low on money, I was low on patience. Welcome back to the channel. This story is about assumptions, ego, and the moment someone realizes they judged the wrong person. But before we dive in, where are you watching from right now? Drop your country and city in the comments. I love seeing how far this community stretches across the world. And if you enjoy real estate drama, shocking twists, and powerful comeback moments, make sure you subscribe, like this video, and turn on notifications so you never miss a new upload. Trust me, by the end of this deal, someone's attitude changed very quickly. I walked into the open house wearing my paint-splattered work pants and an old hoodie. It was a $500,000 modern estate, the kind of place where the door handles cost more than a used car. The listing agent, Vanessa, didn't even look up from her tablet when I walked in. She was too busy sucking up to a couple in designer sportswear. When I asked for a copy of the disclosure forms, she laughed and told me the renter's open house was across town. She thought I was a contractor looking for a side job. She didn't realize I wasn't there to paint the walls. I was there to buy the whole street. I'm standing near the marble kitchen island, touching the finish. Vanessa marches over, looking like she's about to call security. "Can I help you, or are you just lost?" Vanessa asked, her voice dripping with condescension. "The starting bid for this property is $500,000, and we require a pre-approval letter from a real bank, not a payday loan center. Maybe try the fixer-uppers by the industrial park? This neighborhood has a standard to maintain, and frankly, you're lowering the property value just by standing here." Vanessa had just finished telling the designer couple that the owner was looking for a sophisticated buyer. I walked back over to her, pulling a crumpled piece of paper from my pocket. "I'd like to make an offer," I said, sliding the paper onto the marble counter. "Full price, $500,000. Cash, no contingencies. I want to close in 7 days." Vanessa didn't even look at the paper. She just rolled her eyes and signaled the security guard at the door. "Listen, sir, this isn't a game. If you don't leave right now, I'm calling the police for trespassing. A guy in a hoodie doesn't have $500,000 sitting in his pocket." "You're right," I said, pulling out my phone and turning the screen toward her. It wasn't a banking app. It was a portfolio management dashboard. "I don't have $500,000 in my pocket. I have $50 million in my trust. And that paper I just gave you, that's not a fake offer. It's a direct contact to my attorney. But since you mentioned standards, I've decided to change my mind." Vanessa's face went white. She snatched the paper and her eyes darted over the attorney's letterhead, Vance, Sterling and Associates. Her hand started to shake. "Mr. Vance, as in Vance Holdings? The company that just acquired our brokerage?" "The very one," I said, putting my phone away. "I like to visit the properties my company manages before we finalize the acquisition. I wanted to see how our agents treat the public. You didn't see a buyer, Vanessa. You saw a hoodie, and because of that, you just lost a $15,000 commission." "I'm so sorry, Mr. Vance. I was just trying to protect the seller's interests. Please, let me show you the master suite." She was practically tripping over herself now, her snobbery replaced by desperate fawning. "Don't bother," I said, walking toward the door. "The seller's interest is best served by an agent who doesn't alienate potential buyers. You're fired, Vanessa. My assistant will be by this afternoon to collect your keys to the firm. I'll be selling this house myself, to that young couple you ignored earlier. I think they'll appreciate the standard of this neighborhood much more than you do." I walked out into the sun and climbed into my old truck. People think a $500,000 house makes you important. But real power isn't about the house you live in. It's about the way you treat people who have nothing. Vanessa learned that the hard way. "Me? I'm going to go get some lunch. I heard there's a great taco truck by the industrial park, and I'm paying cash, ending confirmed." Vanessa turned back to the designer couple, her voice hitting a high, sugary pitch. "I'm so sorry for the interruption. It's hard to keep the riffraff out during these public viewings. Now, as I was saying, the seller is looking for a buyer with a certain pedigree." I didn't leave. I walked right up to that white marble island, pulled a pen from my pocket, and filled out the offer sheet laying on the counter. I didn't ask for a seat. I just wrote the number in big bold ink, $500,000. "I'm ready to sign," I said, sliding the paper toward her. "Full price, all cash, no inspections, no contingencies. I can have the funds in escrow by 4 p.m. today." The designer couple snickered. Vanessa didn't even pick up the paper. She flicked it away with one finger as if it were trash. "Okay, Buster, The joke is over. You're harassing my clients. Security, can we get this man out of here? He's clearly delusional. I didn't wait for security. I pulled out my phone, tapped the screen 3 times, and set it face up on the marble. It wasn't a banking app for a local credit union. It was a private wealth management portal, the kind only accessible to the top 0.1%. The balance at the bottom didn't just show the $500,000 for the house. It showed a liquid balance of $52,450,000. Vanessa's eyes did a slow crawl from the phone back up to my face. The smug smirk she'd been wearing didn't just fade, it curdled. She saw the name on the account, Leo Vance. "Wait," she whispered, her face turning the color of the white subway tile. "Vance, as in Vance Global Realty, the group that just bought this entire development?" "The very one," I said, picking up my phone. "I like to dress down when I'm scouting new acquisitions. It helps me see which of my agents are professionals and which ones are just bullies with a real estate license." Vanessa's posture collapsed. She reached for the offer sheet she had flicked away earlier, smoothing it out with trembling fingers. "Mr. Vance, I had no idea. I was just trying to protect the exclusivity of the neighborhood. I'm one of your top-producing agents. Your numbers are high, Vanessa, but your character is bankrupt," I interrupted. I looked over at the young couple in the corner, the ones she had ignored. They were watching the whole thing, stunned. "Did you even ask them for their names, or did you just assume their shoes weren't expensive enough for your time?" Vanessa started to sweat, her expensive foundation streaking. "I can make this right. Let me get you a sparkling water. We can sit in the sunroom and finalize the $500,000 contract right now. I'll even throw in a luxury staging package for free." "The only thing you're finalizing today is your exit interview," I said. I pulled out my phone and made a quick call. "Hey, Marcus, I'm at the 5th Street estate. Revoke Vanessa's access to the MLS database and the firm's servers immediately. She's no longer with Vance Global." I turned to the young woman who had been quietly handing out brochures by the front door, a junior assistant Vanessa had been treating like a footstool all morning. "What's your name?" I asked. "Maya, sir," she stammered. "Well, Maya, you're the lead agent on this property now. If this couple wants the house, you'll handle the closing. The full commission, the whole $15,000 is yours. Just make sure you treat every person who walks through that door like they own the place, because one day they might." Vanessa stood there, clutching her tablet, as Maya's eyes filled with tears of shock. Vanessa opened her mouth to argue, but I just pointed toward the door. "You mentioned standards earlier, Vanessa. My standard is simple. Respect isn't for sale. You can keep the designer suit. I'll keep the integrity. Goodbye." I walked out to my truck, leaving the $500,000 mansion behind me. People spend their whole lives trying to look like they have money, but they forget to be human along the way. Vanessa had the pedigree, but she didn't have the perspective. I might be wearing paint-splattered pants, but I'm the one sleeping well tonight. And the tacos at the industrial park, they taste better than any champagne she could have offered. Ending confirmed.